The question has already come in, why YoloBox Pro over Mevo, or why Mevo over YoloBox Pro? For this channel, the question is absolutely natural. And so let's look at the philosophical differences to start with between one setup and the other. Now, when you buy the YoloBox Pro, you're buying the mindset that we are providing recorder, encoder, and monitor all at the same time. The device we have will accept a SIM card so you can stream. It'll connect wirelessly via Wi-Fi to your network, or it will connect via Ethernet. So it is a connected device that does the encoding. You just have to provide the cameras. When we talk about the Mevo system, we're talking about cameras themselves. The camera there is the encoder. It's the recorder and it's the camera. What you're needing then is the connection. You need to be able to have a control device to make use of all the settings that the Mevo offers. You need to initially set that Mevo up to connect to either via Ethernet or via Wi-Fi to an internet connection. So the differences at the very front are very, very clear. To be able to take this YoloBox Pro and produce a mobile live stream is going to be as simple as it is on the Mevo, and in some ways simpler, in some ways more complex. But here's what I mean. What you see on the screen here is two very different cameras running into the YoloBox Pro, and here's the control panel for it. The HDMI 2 that you see there is going to be a generic action cam. It's kind of like a GoPro. Truth be told, I have misplaced my GoPro. It's probably still packed up in a backpack from the last overnighter backpacking trip that my boys and I went on. But for this purpose of this, I'm just using a generic one connected to its HDMI out port, and was able to simply plug and play. Turn on the camera, plug in the HDMI port via HDMI cable to the YoloBox Pro, and it pops up. It finds it on its own. Incredibly simple. The other input that we have here, you see is labeled USB. That is actually one of my Mevo cameras, wired webcam mode turned on, and it is just as plug and play. All I had to do was double tap the power button on the back of the Mevo, plug in my USB-C cable from there to the back of the top of the YoloBox Pro, and it popped up. No questions asked. It just automatically showed up there. So that's a very simple way to get your cameras into this device. Now, as we begin to talk about the features, this is where we're going to see some incredible similarities in what we can do. You can take any camera that has an HDMI out or has a video out signal, I suppose. I am still testing this. I can't speak as the expert on any part of the YoloBox Pro, but as I learn, the more I see, it is a very simple setup, and the ability to use in just about any camera that has a video out is something that's very attractive there. So I have these two cameras, and setting them up, once I get them connected, then obviously I have some audio that I can deal with. I can take the audio from the action cam that I have connected here, or I can take the audio from the Mevo, the USB cam that I have connected here, mix each of those. What I don't have, or what I don't see that's on the front here is a meter that gives me a signal level. I'm used to seeing that here in the Mevo multicam or single cam app, and I rely on that meter a lot. This just takes a little bit of something, just a little bit of getting used to. One thing about the YoloBox Pro is its touch screen is really incredibly responsive. Now, there's a USB-C port on the top of this device that you can plug a keyboard into if you're used to keyboarding, and that's more comfortable for you when you begin typing in usernames or passwords or signing in to any of your social media accounts. But as we look here, you can see that everything's really kind of on the front. You have this right-hand section on the YoloBox that allows you the place to go for everything. So here are my overlays. If I want to add them, I just tap on the plus. If I want to delete one, I just tap and hold, and it gives me either the edit or delete option there. So overlays are something built into the YoloBox, just like overlays are built into the Mevo software. If I look at the different platforms, I can stream to Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. I can also stream just about anywhere else that will accept an RTMP stream. So your possibilities are almost without limit when it comes to being able to stream on the YoloBox. Moving on over to, we've looked at audio, looking at the scoreboard part. Now this is a built-in scoreboard, not a whole lot of editing to be done on this scoreboard, but you can choose some of the wording, some of the styling, some of the sizing, which is a great benefit whenever you're looking at scoreboarding for soccer, tennis, volleyball, baseball, softball, football, all of those kid team sports that we might be wanting to stream in the field as a mobile setup. YoloBox has got a scoreboard built in. When we talk about features, that's one of the great differences. It takes quite a bit more effort to make your scoreboards in the Mevo app at this time. If we continue on, you can see that you can actually monitor the comments on YoloBox Pro on this right-hand side of the screen. Just tap into that tab, and you can see the comments. Now, I have selected a Facebook destination, so I would be looking at the Facebook comments. It does the same for YouTube, and the ability to monitor comments is something that I know from the Facebook customer support group, from the Mevo customer support group. That's something that's been much requested, the ability to monitor those comments real time on the device you're using to control. Then when we look at the auto switcher that is in the YoloBox Pro, it is very similar to the way the Mevo handles it, and then all of your other settings that happen here. Good wide variety of the ability to put your fingerprint on or tweak and adjust the way you want it to, and that is a similar thing to what Mevo offers. I've done many Mevo videos, and so I'm speaking from experience when I say they're both well thought out, well executed devices. They just differ in where they start. Mevo starts with cameras, you take their software. YoloBox starts with the encoder monitor, and you provide the cameras. When we begin talking about cost, I was really surprised here. This part of the comparison actually surprised me greatly. Here's why. The Mevo starts at $399 and your phone. That's been on sale. You can find it for a little bit less, whatever, but bumping up on $400 plus whatever control device you use. Now, if that's going to be your phone, it has to be current enough. The processor has to be strong enough to handle what the Mevo is going to send to it. If you're talking about one Mevo, the camera itself is going to be the encoder, and so it's not going to tax your phone or your tablet, your device, that much. If you're talking about running the Multicam app, then the Multicam app does a lot of the number crunching, and it's asking the control device, your phone or your tablet, to be much more powerful. And thus, you have the limit of however many cameras your device can connect when you talk about the Multicam app. But cost, Mevo starts at $399 plus whatever control device you're going to use. The YoloBox Pro starts at $1,298.99 and your camera. That sounds like a huge difference, but I'm going to tell you it's not, because the cost of your phone or your control device plus the camera is going to be very similar to the cost of the YoloBox Pro plus the camera. You're going to see that those two numbers are not that different depending on what you're trying to accomplish or what equipment you already have. Now, if we're talking about a full setup, multi-camera setup like both of them excel at, then you're talking about narrowing the gap even more. The two are going to be almost identical in price, because by the time you buy 2 or 3 Mevo cameras, 4 or 5, because it'll handle as many as your processor will handle on your device, plus a device that is strong enough, that is new enough, that is powerful enough to handle that many cameras, you're talking about a price tag. The same is true for the YoloBox Pro. You have the initial cost that is the investment in the encoder, controller, monitor, recorder, and then you have what can be very expensive cameras that go along with it, depending on the quality that you want. Now, huge difference here. Mevo cameras only offer a crop, a digital zoom. YoloBox is going to offer whatever camera zoom you have. So if you have a camera that has an HDMI or a video out, you're going to have, the old dog's barking, you're going to have a much better zoom. One of the things I'm looking forward to the most is setting up a live that can take advantage of that zoom. The ability to zoom into football and baseball games, for me, because that's the two big sports that I use this for the most, that's going to be something I really enjoy, being able to set up in a press box and zoom into different parts of the field to get the action that I'm looking for in a multi-camera setup, so that I can have several different. Here's a difference that I hadn't thought about when I put this together. The ability to crop or zoom into a scene. We will have to have someone manning each camera in the YoloBox Pro to change the zoom. On the Mevo, you do have the option of changing it from the software, so that is one of the differences that we'll see. I am not ready to call which one I will prefer, which one I will use moving forward. I have a lot of testing to do with this YoloBox Pro. The more I test it, the more impressed that I am. I have seen many other reviewers on YouTube, many other users on YouTube begin to start using the YoloBox Pro, and I like a lot of what I see being put up on YouTube about it. If you made it this far through the video, then I want you to go ahead and wait and look for the heat test that I'm doing for the Mevo cameras, setting them up to see if we can get some heat protection under this blazing Texas sun. The simplicity, ease of use of the YoloBox Pro is highlighted in this way. We'll take this third camera that's connected to my Mevo, we'll double tap on the power button, turn on wired webcam mode, and then plug that in to the correct port on the back top of the YoloBox Pro, and it shows up. It is now no longer here, but it is here on the YoloBox Pro.